manifest your life and fly, 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 fly. Renee, Lynn, Yancy show. She's a spark, she's the light, she's the voice that feels just right. Truth and style, heart and grace, you'll see joy in every face. Radiate, illuminate, and shine, shine. The Renee, Lynn, Yancy show.
What up, Doe Detroit? What up, Doe World? It's the Renee, Lynn, Yancy show, and we are here live every Thursday, 11 o'clock at WHPR TV. And thank you, Roku TV, those streaming over there. You can find us live. And if you can't make the live show, please join us over at our YouTube station, the Renee, Lynn, Yancy show. You know what to do. You hit, you click, you like, and if you wouldn't mind subscribing. And thank you to all who have subscribed. We are having amazing numbers. I am so excited, and they keep growing and growing because we are powerful in our message to inspire, educate, and motivate while having fun. And today's guests are going to continue with our theme. We have the amazing Nicole Lewis and Princess Castleberry here today in studio, talking about their show, Navigate and Negotiate, their event. But it feels like a show because when you leave there, you got a whole new thing going on. So ladies, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm excited to not only talk about Navigate and Negotiate, and by the way, this is the third Navigate and Negotiate. So shout out to you ladies for creating the theme that we all need to continue in our lives. And so we're going to start off peeling back the onion. Who's Princess Castleberry? Who is Nicole Lewis? How did you become the dynamic women that I know you are? And our audience is going to find out how amazing you are. Fortune 500? Oh, yes. They help businesses not just grow, but expand. Entrepreneurs, non-for-profits, I don't know if there's an industry that they haven't touched. But first, let's find out how they became the dynamic women that they are. So first, actually, I'm going to start out with questions for both of you. And then we'll go in a little bit deeper. So, Princess Nicole, tell me one experience that shaped the women that made you today, the women that you are today. One experience that shaped you.
Well, I think first and foremost, most of us can probably relate to the idea that our upbringing is what really shapes us the most, right? So I was born and raised on the west side of Detroit. Shout out to the most amazing young single mother, because most people don't know that my mother, was 16 when I was born. Mm-hmm. And so I was born just 3 months after her 16th birthday. And we grew up together. But she did something really profound in how she raised me. Is that she taught me that she was not my friend, but she was better than a friend. And she taught me what a mother really was, a guardian, a champion, somebody who would always be there to help you out, somebody who would always pick you up when you fail. And so she taught me in that sense what being a mother was, what being a woman was, and how that related to friendship and everything around me. But that's my rock. And even today in my success, like she is literally the linchpin to my success, because she gives me a lot of runway to do the things that I wouldn't otherwise be able to do if I didn't have her support.
And I've met your mom. Shouts out to mom.
Shouts
yes. And you're right. I've noticed a little theme with some of my guests, and they have the dynamic parents who give them the room and the space to bump their head, to create, to grow. And so shouts out for Mama Nicole. What's that one for you?
So for me, similar parents, right? Yeah. Frank and Dorothy Patterson were my parents, and they made sure I knew that was their role. But the most important thing I think I learned from them was I felt protected and provided for. so that I could do what I needed to do.
Yeah.
I could have the runway and the space because I didn't worry about grown folks' problems.
Mm-hmm.
I
That
was
part.
a child.
Yes.
I didn't know the inner workings of what was going on behind the scenes and what we did or didn't have, and so I felt protected and
Yes.
provided for. And so that allowed me to be me. And, my mom always said, folks don't have to be kind. They don't have to be nice. So when someone is, you just say thank you all the time. And I think that's just part of who I am. Like, I appreciate everything that everyone has ever done for me because I realized that it didn't have to be.
Yes.
But I think, as I think about my life, it was that. I felt so protected that I didn't worry about certain things because it wasn't my place.
Oh, we have that in common.
I could just be a kid.
Yes.
I could just go to school. I could
Yes.
just, regardless of what was happening.
Yes.
When Frank and Dorothy shut the bedroom door, I didn't know nothing about it.
Yes.
It wasn't my
Yes.
business,
It was
and
not
I'm
my
minding
business,
my own
and
business.
I mind my own business.
Yes, so shouts out to the parents,
we
right?
have that in common. I tell my mother the best gift she ever gave me as a young single mother was a childhood. I was not her. She didn't make me her friend. I wasn't her friend. I wasn't her confidant. I wasn't her companion.
Yes.
I was a kid. I got a full
Childhood.
healthy childhood.
Yes, amen. So thank you. That was wonderful. And I love how you both just learned something about one another that you didn't know. All right, let's carry on. Every leader has a moment where life pivots, when you realize this is what I am called to do.
Yeah.
This is the thing, which we were talking about a little bit ago. Who wants to go first?
I will. I'll answer this one.
Okay.
This was. I tell people ask me, so what's your superpower? What do you do the best? And I always say my superpower is leadership, because it goes back to that protection and provider. And so I've always positioned myself as a leader to protect and provide for my team.
Come on
right?
now.
And so leading from the back, making sure they're safe, well cared for, taken care of all along the way, right? But one of the things, I think a pivotal moment for me is with all my success coming up through corporate America in the late 80s and 90s, one of the things that I always did before I had this pivotal moment was every time I got promoted or there was an opportunity, I would look to replace me.
Yeah.
Come on, yes.
Literally
Yes.
and figuratively, me. And so I was in a position where I was leading a global sales team, and I was having a hard time replacing this young man that I just promoted. And it was a critical position. And I kept complaining that I couldn't find anybody. And so one of my very good friends to this day, she sat me down and she said, the reason you can't find anybody is that you keep trying to replace you. You don't need you. You just need somebody to deliver the results. I was like,
I said,
what do you
wait a
mean?
minute.
I said, wait, what's wrong with me?
What you
She's like,
talking
"No."
about? Right.
She's like, you're missing the point. There's been good candidates that have come through. They don't have to do it like you did it. They just have to do it.
Release the control. Yes.
Right? And so that was one of the biggest pivotal moments of my career, because from then on, I really understood my role as a leader and my role in building teams that deliver.
Powerful.
Right?
Powerful.
And before that, I was just, I did it well. If I just find another me, we'll be fine, because I'm fabulous. And I'm like,
all the things.
I'm all the things. So if we just find another me, we'll be great. And that was a moment, because I was failing at building this team because I was looking for the wrong components.
Right,
Yes.
right.
And so that was major for me. It changed how I look at that was 30 years ago, but it changed how I look at everything when it comes to building and leading teams.
Yes. Thank you, Nicole. That was awesome. Princess.
Mine was about 3 years ago.
Okay.
And it was literally, imagine a dancer doing a pivot within a pivot within a pivot. So the first pivot was me leaving corporate America, starting my own consultancy. From there, that career pivoted because of the pandemic, right? And how I was going to work, how I was going to show up, because that changed everything. That changed how we saw the world, how we saw ourselves in it, and what we wanted to contribute. And I wanted to contribute something differently because, prior to starting the business, I had worked in enterprise risk management in corporate America. So I'd always been around leaders and executives and high stakes decision making. And then I found myself in a small business, making those decisions for myself and then being faced with a pandemic. And so that's actually how Nicole and I actually first started working together. It was a pivot toward, how our small business is going to survive this pandemic. And that's how we connected. Now, the third pivot happened about halfway into the 6-year business when I decided that the way I was showing up as a consultant was not exactly how I wanted to work. And I got this notion that, and it was really honestly born out of a problem that as a small business owner, I didn't understand the sales process very well. I had a lot of other business acumen, but I did not have a lot of direct sales experience. I had never been exposed. And so I knew, though, I had the confidence and I knew I had great ideas and a great presence about myself. And that if I could just get myself to a stage to share my experiences in mass, that the people who wanted to work with me and talk to me would do what I do after great talks. They would line up at the bottom of the stage and say, hey, I want to talk to you. I want to work with you. Yes. So that was the pivot. I got on stage just to share my ideas in a more efficient way. Yeah. But that ended up turning into a whole new career for me because up there, I fell in love with the idea of teaching and leading from a stage. So I had to put myself in what at first seemed like a really uncomfortable position and an untraditional position to get myself into for the sales process. But I found an entire love. Like I literally discovered and came to my own truth that, oh, I can have this platform. This is a platform and an avenue for me. And I've built an entire burgeoning global speaking practice, off of that one moment that started as a problem, as a business problem. And so the leadership lesson in that is that you never stop learning, you never stop pivoting, and that you have to always be willing to leverage and capitalize the opportunities. I always say you leverage opportunities, you leverage spaces and collaboratives, you don't leverage people. But I was able to build and collaborate with the people that I had relationships with as I leveraged this newfound opportunity. So
thank you for the gems. I hope you all are getting these gems. You leverage the opportunity, not the person.
That's it.
And let me say that is exactly how I met Princess. Was at an event, a Rotary event on the stage, and I was right there in line with everybody else. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And you were so kind to even meet with me afterwards and develop this sisterhood. And that's how I got to meet this wonderful woman. So, shouts out to Rotary. We love you and all the good juju. Yes. But you're right. But at that point, it was, I want to talk too. I got something to say. And you said, find your stage, find your spot. And so here we are in the Renee, Lynn, Yancy show. But let's keep it moving here, ladies. If someone met you 10 years ago, come on now. 10 years a long time ago. If someone met you 10 years ago, what would they be surprised about you today?
Okay. You got that first?
Go ahead.
You want to go first?
I saw it. I felt it.
Yeah. You were going to say
So I
something.
think that they would be, I'm a rule follower.
A rule follower. Okay.
Until I don't like the rule.
Then you change them.
It's true.
It is true.
I'm a rule follower until I don't like it.
Right.
And then I figure out a way to go around it, or I just flat out break it. But I consider myself one of the original corporate Cathys.
Okay.
Right. I was that corporate person in that, 25, 30 year career. And so I think, 10 years ago, I think now I am so much more flexible and so many, my boundaries, have tightened. But I've lifted some restrictions off of my life and off of how I deal with things. So I'm not sure if it's growth because of the business or it's growth because of by being an entrepreneur for these last 8, or it's growth because I'm getting older and some things I just don't really care about anymore. But those things that I do care about, I hold very close to me. Sure. And then I feel Frank and Dorothy coming out, and that's the protector provider. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So I think 10 years ago, I was very corporate. Now I am very much do you, what makes you happy, you don't have to do everything you know how to do. You just need to do the things that make you happy. And that was a transition that I had to make in my business, because when I first started, I did what I knew how to do.
Yes.
And so I had this laundry list of service offerings.
So
and now I'm down to 3 things.
Come on now.
Right? Because I know how to do 12, but I only really like to do 3.
Yes.
Right? And so that in and of itself was a transition. So I think 10 years ago, I was very by the book, corporate, do this, do that, do this. Now I'm much more liberated, free thinking.
You letting go of the control of
let
the outcome.
go of the control.
Yes, let go, let
you
flow.
get your Elsa, let it.
Yes, let it go.
Let it go.
So that is
Yes.
me. I think that's the biggest thing that I recognize about me. Others may say something different, but I recognize that and feel that about myself.
And so bravo, because I know, like you said, that gets you in your happy place. That gives you that freedom.
Yes.
Princess, please do share.
So I'll tell you, 10 years ago, I was 35. And the thing that would surprise people today to know about me, especially at that time, is that I was afraid at that time, in a way that I'm not afraid now. But it was circumstantial, because 10 years ago, my personal life was in a lot of transition, and I was afraid of it impacting my professional life. So I was, again, working in corporate America, Fortune 500, in a very technical, like high visibility role. And I had a lot of personal responsibility because I was recently divorced at that time, and I had 2 babies. And so, if you think about just the years prior to that, I was married and had no children, 2 incomes, living a certain life. And at that moment, 10 years ago, I was, like I said, I was divorced and I had 2 babies. One that I was nursing and caring for, and another that was literally toddling and starting out in school. So I had all those responsibilities at home, and I was afraid. I was afraid of how is this going to work out. And it's really like my own experience is a basis of what the work that I do today with leaders, because behind all the titles, the job titles, the offices and everything, there's some real stuff happening at home that people don't really contend with. And then people think that they have to go to work and leave it behind, and it never gets left behind. It shows up in the meetings and the interactions and the triggers in those moments that you have with other people. And if you try to bury it, it will bury you, right? So I didn't want to be buried. And so I found myself in this fearful space. But, my claim to fame is that I, first off, got the resources. I got help. I put, great people around me, people that could mentor me, check me, guide me. And then I started to just come alive in my own ideas, and I found my way. And I think that if more people would talk about what actually happens in their personal lives in a business context, and you can bring more of that into work, it makes other people around you know that there is a way forward. There's always a way forward.
Yes.
And so, and I have to share this because we have this forum, and I know you have, a ton of people listening in. But 10 years ago, I experienced, for the first time in my life, a suicidal ideation. And that would really shock people to know that happened to me.
Yes.
I'm a very strong-willed, strong-minded individual. And sometimes we even wear that like it's a badge of honor. That's happenstance. That's happenstance because it takes only a small series of circumstances to turn your world mentally upside down. And so finding myself in that place that I thought I would never be, feeling and hearing that darkness start to come out, that was scary. And a lot of people don't know that 10 years ago, that's the space that I was in. And I had to actively work my way through that. So that's, that's a blessing.
Princess, thank you. I mean, I know we try all our best to show up authentically, but that revelation, that moment, and to share that and reveal that, because you are seen as the powerhouse. You're on stage and you rocking it. I remember those thoughts as a teenager, and had the plan and did the plan, but the damn plan didn't work.
But you have to realize, though, too, Renee, if I may, the folks that you see that have made it, or that you see, everybody has a story behind them.
Yes.
And you are not by yourself.
Ever.
So if you think that this is going on with me, and you internalize that, is because we don't authentically talk to each other.
Right.
That we know.
That part.
I mean,
it's always the fate, the mask.
It's always the mask
or the
of
title.
this is going,
Yes.
or people think, the address, or the
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 car,
job title,
yes.
or the car. Because things have happened. For example, in my life, similar with children or whatever, and then you start talking to people like, "Girl, that happened to
Been
me
there,
3
done
years
it.
ago. Been there, done that. Did it." You never said anything. Like, we've been friends 20 years. You never said a thing.
Yeah,
So
never
I'm
said a thing.
thinking, oh my
Everything's
God, this is
okay.
happening to me,
Yeah.
and every other mom that I know was like, oh yeah, I handled that. I had to
Especially
handle
with
it
the
too.
hormonal imbalances.
Seriously.
And then all the triggers and all of the people that we're juggling and things.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So ladies, thank you as we started our conversations with some great onion peeling, some deep rooted stuff, authentic sharing. So we're going to go to a quick break. And when we come back, I'm going to have questions for each one of you. So in 2 minutes, go get your coffee, go get your tea. Come on back for this amazing conversation with the awesome Nicole Lewis and Princess Castleberry. See you in a few.
Manifest your life and fly, 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 fly. Renee, Lynn, Yancy show. She's a spark, she's the light, she's the voice that feels just right.
Watkins Broadcasting is going worldwide. Now you can watch Detroit's own WHPR on your TV from anywhere in the world. No matter where you are, you can stay in the know with WHPR TV and Roku. You can get your easy-to-install Roku box from wherever you shop for your entertainment gear. Once your Roku box is connected to your TV and internet, go to the channel store on the home menu of the Roku box. Enter WHPR TV in the search engine and add it to your channels. That's it. That's all you need to get the best in entertainment, news, and talk, no matter where you are. Roku brings all of your favorites to your TV. Netflix, Hulu Plus, Crackle, HBO Go, and now WHPR TV, Detroit Live.
Justice for Mario Willis. Truth. Facts. Evidence. Mattered. Log into justiceformariowillis.com. Read for yourself.
Have you ever wanted your own TV show? Have you dreamed of showcasing your talent for the world to see? Well, now you can. Have your own TV show. You can have your own 30-minute show. Not only will you be seen in the Detroit area, but you can be viewed worldwide. For more information, call 313-868-6612. Visit our studios and receive a free TV interview to promote your business, church, or organization by appointment only.
Truth and style, heart and grace. You'll see joy in every face. Radiate, illuminate, and shine, shine. The Renee, Lynn, Yancy show.
I love the intro song to the Renee Lynn Yancy show. Make you want to move. And so we're here live. WHPR TV, Roku TV, and of course, you can go find us at the Renee Lynn Yancy Show at our YouTube channel. We're here with the amazing Nicole Lewis and Princess Castleberry, who have been dropping gems, sharing their authentic, you hear me, authentic selves, which have been blowing my mind. And so, again, if you didn't catch us earlier, go to the YouTube channel, because you have got to hear these gems. You have got to hear these jewels that these queens are giving to us today. And so now we're going to go a little bit deeper. I've got questions now just for Princess Castleberry, and then we're going to move over to Miss Nicole over here. So Princess, your name carries royalty. And we know, and I've seen you, for those who don't know, you're on that stage, we see the confidence.
That's right.
How did your upbringing, you kind of touched on this, or early career experience lead you to this path of global leadership?
Yeah, so, some things are like predetermined, I think, especially when your parents name you princess.
Come on now.
That's just,
What else you going to do?
It gives you something to live up to. But the funny thing about the name, though, I have to tell you this, is I was born on Christmas Eve.
Okay.
And my parents literally almost named me Christmas Eve because that's what teenagers do. Try to be creative. And as the story goes, a friend of theirs suggested otherwise.
I'm
and
so
suggested
glad
that,
they did.
so many people call their little girl princess. And then a lot of people think that my surname is like my parents' name, but that's actually my husband's name, Castleberry. So I,
Perfect.
met a guy at a party and was like, Castleberry, Princess Castleberry sounds like a thing. So that's like a
Come
good
here,
brand.
come here, come here.
I was thinking ahead.
Yes,
That's what
you
women
were.
need to do.
That's what you always strategizing.
I'm always strategizing. But those early moments, though, like I said, those early moments in my family, I was an only child for 14 years.
Oh, wow.
So I had a lot of creative time and a lot of time on my hands alone, right? To just think about own ideas and sort of be in my own world. And because my mother was working so much, I had a lot of independence, right? So I can think of the times as a child where I had to be home, sort of just problem solving and coming up with ideas and creative things to do. But my mother just, again, the expectation was set high. The expectation and the bar was set very high for me. And so I did not know, even though we did not have a lot of money, I told my mother one of her famous gifts is that she never told me that we were poor. And when I did actually bring up the idea of being poor, she said, poor is a temporary financial state. What are you talking about? Like, that's not something that you embody.
Yeah.
And so she said, no, I was never going to tell you that we were poor because I didn't tell you about a whole lot of temporary situations that we faced, right? Similar to what Nicole shared earlier.
Yes.
Like, she just really didn't know some of the adult things that were going on, right? And so I wasn't consumed by that stuff. So I got to be young. I got to be confident. I went to, I think, one of the best high schools in this city, Renaissance High School, got to say it. I shout out to my Cass Tech people.
Yeah,
shout out to my Cass Tech friends.
All right.
Renaissance is one of the best high schools in this city.
All right.
And so I just feel like, honestly, throughout my life, I was always set up for success.
Yes.
So it was on me to rise to that, though, right? Because we know a lot of people that get set up for success. And so I was so grateful and so humble about it. Like it was beyond me to pass up a great opportunity. So from middle school to high school, gaining a college scholarship, going away to a private school, then having the opportunity to study abroad in Spain. I took every single opportunity that was put in front of me like it was going to be my last. And because we don't know when the last thing is coming. And so that's really how I built my career and my momentum, because I always aimed for the top. So when I graduated and it came time to look for a job and look for opportunities, I wanted to work for a large company. Even if it was a small team within a large company, I knew I wanted to be on a bigger stage.
Yes.
And that was intentional. So I think that a lot of success, even though the circumstances are God and heaven sent, and
Yes.
some things happen, or some things are serendipitous, you just meet people and it doesn't seem to have any rhyme or reason. But what has rhyme or reason all the time is your intentionality toward those things. So I've been like that since I was a child, and I'll consider it a blessing, because Lord knows I made a bunch of dumb decisions in the mix too. I was still a normal child.
Yes,
I want to put that out there.
We still messed up, right?
We still messed up. Ooh.
Yep.
Ooh, I won't even go there.
That's
like
another show,
book,
right?
Another book, another show.
Another show.
All the mess up. So I was still just a normal kid that made all the same crazy mistakes.
Sure.
But I never turned down great opportunities, and I always was thinking about what comes next. What am I going to contribute to? What am I building? And after so much time passes, I mean, you look back and you're like, oh, wow, I've really done a lot. I've done a lot, and I'm still living, and I'm still building.
Shout out to your mom
Yeah,
for
she is
creating a mindset.
She did.
She
for
created
sure.
a mindset which created your expectation for
Very high.
yourself. And then everyone else is just going to get blessed because you showed up.
That part.
Ooh, shout out to the parents. Come on now. The ones who pour into their children and look to see their gifts and not what they want to be. That's called not controlling the outcome. But we proceed on with questions of deep diving into Princess Castleberry. Okay, when did you realize your voice was meant to change rooms and not just fill rooms.
Wow. Change rooms and not just fill rooms.
Come on.
Well, that right there comes, again, with a little bit of dropping of the ego, right? I've always been a talker. Chatty,
energy, yes.
Big, bright, bold. And sometimes, I used to misuse that energy, right? I used to be, too unapologetic, right? About, I don't care about how much space I take up. And, honestly, it came in people leadership. When you start, leading teams of people and not just processes, but you're actually responsible for helping somebody else grow a career, helping somebody else think through their decisions. It creates it. I think for me, it like opened up a different side of my maternal instinct. Like, oh, this isn't just about me. And so having my presence shown didn't have to always come out of my mouth. And that's when I learned how to put other people on, as we say.
Yes.
And so it started with my staff and my teams. I learned how to put people on. And then when I started my business, when you meet people, like how you and I met, and you hear the idea, you hear the concept and the vision, it cost me nothing to put you on.
Yeah.
You still had to do the work.
Yes.
Right?
Come on now.
And so I learned that I could transform a room with my presence and my voice, actually sometimes by not saying anything, by putting somebody else in position to say, do, and excel. And it's still tied to my legacy, because everybody I've ever helped or put on, they're going to give me the shout out. You get the glory, you get the accolades out of it. And so it was really learning to like rest in the fact that I didn't have to speak all the time. And so that's what it is now. And now, and I'm thinking about the work that I do with my clients. I was on the phone with a client today, and they loved, this workshop, this experience I took their team through. And now they're like, we're having some challenges just within our middle management, our middle leadership. And, we want you to design this new program. I said, I don't have to design a new program. We're going to go back and we're going to deepen the tools that I've already introduced. You're more in power and control than you already know. So I said, do you still have, the framework that I shared? And so I said, pull it out. She pulled it out. And I said, talk me through it. Again, I learned how to, I didn't have to talk anymore. That sounds like
navigating, negotiating.
Yeah, right?
Yes. Yes.
I was quiet, and I said, talk me through what you learned. How would you apply this now, now that you have a real challenge, not the one that we played out in the workshop. You had a real challenge. Now let this come alive. Go. And by the end of the call, we were supposed to be having a discovery call. She said, send me an invoice.
Yeah,
she said, send me another invoice, because this turned into a full-on consultation.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I said, yeah, use what you got.
Dig
Leverage
deeper.
what you have. Dig deeper. But I created a transformative moment just this morning in me being quiet, but having her rely on tools I had already introduced. Gems I had already dropped. Pick them up now. That's it.
Princess, so power to the person who knows that their pride and their ego is not what's going to turn them on or anybody else. Really, it is. I find that it just gets in the way because people make it about them, so they limit their reach, their the ripple effect. So yeah, that's a powerful lesson. Sometimes being quiet is the thing that's needed most. All right, let's go for one more, because I want to make sure we got time for Miss Nicole over here. I'm like, can we get a 2-hour show? We need a 2-hour show.
Like, I want to hear this.
Yes, I know, right? This is perfect. You're known for merging wellness and leadership together.
Yes.
What sparked that? What created that moment where you're like, okay, wait a minute, I need to be doing something a little bit different?
Yeah. So again, my background is risk management, right? And so
it sounds just stressful, just the term by itself.
But let me give you in the audience a simple definition of the word risk. A risk is the possibility of harm or loss to something of value. So instead of you having to think about what is risk management or am I a risk manager, think about this idea. Do you have something that you value? And every one of us is going to say, yes, we have a whole host of things that we value. So if you have something that you value and that you're working hard to protect, you are a risk manager. Now, Renee, with that definition of what a risk is and the fact that we're all risk managers, I saw the way that you identify, assess, and build and learn through risks, I saw that as applicable to everything. And so as we were coming through the pandemic and we were going through all these pivots in our business, I said, to myself, what is going to be the number one emerging risk in business? And I was like, it's going to be mental health and well-being. So I positioned myself, again, I'm always positioning myself to be able to leverage what's happening. It's like I can't stop it. I couldn't stop the leadership capacity crisis. I couldn't stop the wellness crisis, but I can disrupt them, right? They were already happening.
Come on,
Stuff is outside of my control.
Yes.
And so I decided to make my mission disrupting the leadership capacity crisis. And I do that by integrating risk management, business, and wellness practices. And I had to get more education to be able to do that. Like most risk managers get an MBA, right? That's their career path. You get your bachelor's degree, you get an MBA, and you go into some area of advanced finance management, or in some cases, executive marketing services, right? But I was different. I was really concerned my entire career with three things. I wanted to know how people, adults in particular, how adults learned and why they made the decisions they made, and what made them well and unwell. So instead of pursuing an MBA, I got a master's degree in training and development, instructional design, and then I studied wellness counseling.
Interesting.
Not to become a therapist or a wellness counselor, but to make sure that in everything that I ever designed or implemented, that I had people's wellness and well-being at the center of every design.
Can
right?
we have you train all the CEOs
we
in
can.
all the world
Yes.
and all the things, please?
That's
Come
exactly
on now.
what
That's why we're
Castleberry
here
does.
today.
We train the CEOs
Princess
of the world.
Castleberry, LinkedIn, we'll get to that at the end, all the places where
All
you
the
can find
things.
her. Princess,
you can.
thank you. Oh my gosh, the Renee Lynn Yancy show got all the fabulousness on it. Awesome, ladies. Thank you.
She is
Thank you.
fabulous.
She is fabulous.
She
And
is
so are
absolutely
you,
fabulous.
Miss Nicole, because we're going to switch it over to you
Uh-oh.
now.
I'm on the hot seat.
Here we go.
Turn
Here we
myself
go.
around.
No, she didn't give me the look like your
Yes,
turn.
ma'am. Your
Let me get my-
turn.
let me get my water.
You have been known to be a story that's rooted in resilience. Beyond what people may already know about you, what early experience shaped your mindset and drive?
Ooh, this is such a good one. So, our family is a baseball family.
Okay.
My dad loved baseball. He played baseball. I even have the letter that he wrote to the Cleveland Indians in 1946 asking for a tryout.
What?
Wow.
Handwritten letter.
Okay.
And their handwritten response back to him. So my kids played baseball all the way up. So baseball is at the root of our family.
Okay.
And the reason I bring that up, because Daddy always talked about Jackie Robinson. And he always talked about the Negro League. And he always talked about how Jack, like I knew him.
Right.
But I'd say it like
Our
my
friend
dad.
Jackie,
right?
Uncle
Jack.
Jackie, Uncle Jackie, yeah.
But, it was part of my life.
Yes,
For me,
right.
It's like
That's
just
my,
Jackie,
yeah,
right.
right.
But he always talked about how he was not the best Negro League player, but he was the best one for the moment.
Come on
to
now.
integrate Major League Baseball.
Timing.
Okay.
Yes.
So it wasn't only timing, he also had all the other accoutrements, right? He had the college, the UCL. He had all the things that if there was going to be one that was the only one,
I see.
he had what it took to be able to withstand what he was going to have to go through.
Ooh. Especially in those times.
In those times, we're talking
Yes.
1947,
come on.
48, Branch Rickey, the whole, okay. So that story has always resonated with me because that's how my mom and dad prepared me, is because we were the first Black family on the block. We were the first, back in 1964.
Okay.
Okay. I was the first, one of the first Black children in the school that at that time was all Jewish that I went to. My parents knew that they were putting me in a position where I was going to be the first or the only a lot.
Wow.
So that Jackie Robinson story
Come on, yes.
is more than, it's not about being the best, it's about being ready. Because the best did not go to the major league first. It was the person who was ready.
Come on, Nicole. Come on.
So my parents focused on me being ready because they knew that I was going to be, they believed in me, that I was going to be in rooms first, or I was going to be the only, put in situations where I was going to be the only, whether it was black, whether it was female, whether it was tall, whether it was brown skin. I was
all
going
the
to be
things.
all the
I'm
things
number
I
one.
am.
Yes.
Okay. That they knew that was coming for me.
Okay.
And so that's how they prepared me.
Yes.
So, to answer your question, like that's where it comes from. So when I think about throughout my collegiate career, throughout my business career, I have been the first in a lot of rooms, a lot of different ways.
Sure.
As a woman, as a black woman, as a tall woman,
right? Yeah.
I have been the first in a lot of ways. But I went into that with the knowledge and what I was prepared, how I was prepared, by my parents, and that I look back on that and I go,
thanks, Mom and Dad.
That's where all that came from. Like, I so thank and appreciate them. I didn't know what was happening when I was 8, 9, 12, 14, but I look back and say, when people say, well, how did you?
It was wax on,
could you
wax
believe
off,
that they
right?
just said blah, blah, blah. Because
yeah.
people said and did some crazy things in my lifetime. In the
and
corporate
when you're the
world.
first, yes.
And when you're, and
they don't
they're
know.
looking for how you respond.
Yes. Because we want you to be the angry black woman.
And I'm not falling for it.
Not falling for it.
So, but I was taught that. So that goes back to to the earlier statement that we talked about, protected and provided, right?
Oh, I hear the core. Yes.
It's
Shout
all
out to your
in
parents.
divine order.
Yes.
Yeah, they used to get on my nerves, but I get it now.
They had you together.
But I get it now.
Oh, let's see. Okay. Oh, so my people say, Renee, stop looking through the questions, but I'm looking at the time and I have so many good questions. Oh, ladies, thank you. I knew this was going to be an awesome conversation, but I got goosebumps over here, and usually I'm having hot flashes. Okay. So, you know what? We are going to go with the next question.
Okay.
Nicole, you've worn many hats. Mother, wife, mother, grandmama now. Congratulations on the grandbaby. Yes. Strategist, entrepreneur, and mentor. Out of all of those hats that you learned how to wear, who was the one that showed you? I feel like I already know this answer, but who is that example to you to become?
So the short answer, obviously, are my parents.
Yeah.
But second to that, I would say, have been the mentors and sponsors that I have had along this journey. Both from, and they've changed over time. Some people have been with me since high school, and others, it's been in my corporate career, others as an entrepreneur. But those relationships, those formal, I'm talking about formal mentoring relationships that you invest in and they invest in you.
That part, celebrated, not tolerated.
Yes. Those have been game changing in terms of how I do what I do, how I look at what I do, how I look at what others do, how I approach my clients, how I treat my clients, how I treat my team, how I feel about operating in this entrepreneurial space. I mean, I was talking to clients yesterday, and Princess brought it up about so many people have amazing ideas to bring to market. But you know what they don't like to do? Is they don't like the selling part. Right? They don't like the selling part. They got to come out of their comfort zone. They don't know how, or they got to come out of their comfort zone. And I feel like bringing people out of their comfort zone is what has been poured into me by mentors and sponsors in the past. And so I so enjoy doing that for others, because they've said to me, you're minimizing your gift if you think that you don't make an impact when you help bring people out.
Yes.
And so I think that's been like the best relationships that I've had outside of my parents, have been the people who have poured into me, that I now see the nuggets they dropped.
Yes.
That I get to pour into others.
Shouts out to those folks, right? And it's realizing the real impact is, if I sow a seed,
Absolutely.
I get the harvest.
Absolutely.
And I'm sorry, this look like some good soils over here with you and you. I'm pouring all the seeds, as many seeds as possible.
Yes.
So thank you, ladies, for letting me take a deeper dive.
Yes.
So now we're going to go to another short commercial break. But when we come back, we're going straight, navigate, and negotiate.
Woo!
We're going to talk about this event happening on October 26th,
Yes.
how it came to be, what it's going to be, what it used to be, what has changed, and all of it. So go get your coffee, go get your tea, and come right back. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
Manifest your life and fly, 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 fly. Renee, Lynn, Yancy show. She's a spark, she's the light, she's the voice that feels just right.
Have you ever wanted your own TV show? Have you dreamed of showcasing your talent for the world to see? Well, now you can. Have your own TV show. You can have your own 30-minute show. Not only will you be seen in the Detroit area, but you can be viewed worldwide. For more information, call 313-868-6612. Visit our studios and receive a free TV interview to promote your business, church, or organization by appointment only. Watkins Broadcasting is going worldwide. Now you can watch Detroit's own WHPR on your TV from anywhere in the world. No matter where you are, you can stay in the know with WHPR TV and Roku. You can get your easy-to-install Roku box from wherever you shop for your entertainment gear. Once your Roku box is connected to your TV and internet, go to the channel store on the home menu of the Roku box. Enter WHPR TV in the search engine and add it to your channels. That's it. That's all you need to get the best in entertainment, news, and talk, no matter where you are. Roku brings all of your favorites to your TV. Netflix, Hulu Plus, Crackle, HBO Go, and now WHPR TV, Detroit Live.
Truth and style, heart and grace, you'll see joy in every face. Radiate, illuminate, and shine, shine. The Renee, Lynn, Yancy show.
And welcome back to the Renee, Lynn, Yancy show. We are in our last segment of the show where we got to start focusing on why we're here. We are here for Navigate and Negotiate, an amazing conference that is now in its third year and growing, with the amazing Nicole Lewis and Princess Castleberry, who have been giving us some amazing gems, sharing their authentic selves with us, and like sharing stuff that none of us have ever heard before. So you heard it live right here on the Renee, Lynn, Yancy show. But now, ladies, let's get into Navigate and Negotiate.
Yes.
So, first question, how did it come to life? The title, the idea, all the things. How did it happen?
Well, I had this vision that I had this dream, and I woke up and I thought about it for a long time before I actually took it to Princess. But it was this, what is out there for the 40-somethings and beyond, right? For women, right?
Yeah.
Like Princess and I have both gone to so many different workshops and conferences, and they're all fun and they're nice, but it's like when I leave there, I still don't know exactly what to do. Mm-hmm. And so I had this idea about, I want women to come together to vision what's next. As a growth strategist in my business, that's what I do. I help companies plan their strategies, right? Strategic planning. But how do we do it for women? So I took this crazy lopsided couple of bullet points to my dear friend here, Chief Instructional Designer. I just played one on TV. She really has degrees and stuff in it. So I go to her and I was like, I'm thinking. So this was actually like a year before we got into it, because we were like, we don't have time to do anything this year given our schedule. So we were a whole year planning. And it was like, I don't want to cut out magazines, and that's not what I'm thinking.
You don't want to do a vision board?
No. That's not, that was not.
That's not the takeaway for this.
The takeaway I was thinking about. And so, instructional designer extraordinaire over here, we had worked together on some other projects, and I said, okay, Princess, help me think this through. I need you. I really think we can do this.
Yeah.
And so she came and said,
I came and said, well, one of the things that we talked about, I said, okay, tell me the vision, right? Because it's like the Stephen Covey mindset, like begin with the end in mind.
Yes.
When people are walking out of the room, what do you want them saying about the experience? And more importantly, like, what do you want them saying about you? And she's like, what do you mean you? It's us. Like, you're a part of this.
That's how I get like, she was volunteering.
Right, yes.
You're a part of this.
You were like,
okay, all right. And so when she explained the vision of, wanting women to walk out, not just inspired, not just empowered, but with a plan, I'm a person, I'm real literal. I'm like, so you wanted to create a strategic planning experience. And she's like, yeah, but I just don't want I want to say that because that sounds boring, right? Because people think,
yeah.
And I said, well, there's ways. Like, I'm a girl who loves a good theme. And so we start talking about this concept of a girl's trip.
A road trip.
Road trip. I love it. Okay.
I said, so after she planted this idea about this road trip, I said, leave me to my ways. And maybe like a week later, I came to her and I said, navigate and negotiate.
Ooh.
I said, because when you're driving, when you're going anywhere in life, you have to have some direction. So you have to have a navigation system. You have to have a way to navigate, a plan to go forward. But along the way, risk management comes into play.
Yes.
There's always risks. So you have to negotiate every turn, right? And so there was that figurative negotiation, and then there's that literal negotiating your way in every aspect of your career, in your family, in your deal. We're constantly negotiating our attention, negotiating for our capacity, negotiating for how we actually show up. So I took that back to her, and she's like, I said, I'm always checking first. I always do an intellectual property check. Let's see if let's see if we can get the website domain.
Yes.
Let's see if anybody has a trademark on it and all these things. And it was just like free and clear on all channels. Mm-hmm. And so before we told anybody anything, we just captured the IP and said, okay, let's start building this thing out. And the experiences have been extraordinary and they continue to evolve. Yeah. Right. And so there will be some new things at Navigate and Negotiate this year on October 26th, some new experiences. Mm-hmm. But you're walking in with a vision, you're leaving with a plan, a strat plan.
But we titled it Roadmap because that is what, when I work with clients, we're doing this roadmap, right? Mm-hmm. You're going from point A and here's your destination. Yes. And so what we really wanted people to do was understand what they're going to come. They're going to have some fun. Mm-hmm. They're going to do the work. But we actually work in the workshop. So if you are coming
workshop
to look at us talk for 4 hours, it's not happening.
You got to show up.
You better show up. You better show up.
And let me just say, ladies,
it's not a party. It is not a party.
But it is a little bit.
Yeah, that's a little bit. Where we go, we turn up.
And so I just want to. I've been to the first two, and literally, you are leaving with a road map and all the steps that even at the time I wasn't ready for all the stuff, but I still got my pink folder and I still got my orange folder. And now that I am ready, I have opened them up and I can just pick up where I left off. But you gave me things that I didn't know I needed. So thank you. And you made it feel tangible. Like this is not out there. This is right here where you need it.
It's right here where you're sitting now.
Yeah. That part. Come on. Manifestation.
This was it.
This was
on your roadmap.
This was it. But it had to have, I had to get all the things together. I love how you talked about that, Nicole. You are always prepared because when people are sewing into you, even when you don't even realize they are. So shouts out Russ Ives at Rotary. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, one more question. And then I want we'll just talk about where, when, all the details, how to get a ticket to Navigate and Negotiate.
Absolutely.
Sorry, guys. I had so many great questions. Here's one. I got so many.
You have such good experience. That's why, because you've been with us all along the way. So
and I know exactly. It's like, I want to know this, and I want to know this. So here's one. We're going to wrap this segment up. Women are out there. They're juggling their careers, their families, their personal life, and their work life. What do you hope they'll feel after they walk out of Navigate and Negotiate 3?
I hope they'll feel empowered. But not just empowered, warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
But I hope they'll feel like, okay, A, it's not just me. B, oh, I have a plan and I can actually work, right? And then I hope they feel like even when they walk away and go home to their home office or sit down at their kitchen table, they have learned enough so that they can continue the plan. Mm-hmm. Because we're going to take you through and you will understand and you will have one solid deliverable goal planned out when you leave at the end of those 4 hours. Mm-hmm. But you've got 2-3 more to do. And so our hope is that we've taught you well enough. You had enough experiences with the people in your groups and individually that when you go home, you can complete the other 2 or 3. Because if you just leave and don't do the rest of the work, then we failed.
Right.
Yeah. So we actually hope that you feel good enough about the direction that you want to go, that you feel good enough about your goals, that you're inspired and motivated and compelled to complete the rest of the plan for yourself and then act on it and keep up with it. Keep up with it and be a part of the Navigate, Negotiate community. Let us know how you're doing. That's what we hope. Yeah. That's what success looks like for us, is that you do the work.
Yeah. That part. So Nicole, I'm sorry, Princess, tell us the where, the when, give us the details.
Yeah, so Navigate and Negotiate happens on Sunday, October 26th, from 1 to 5 p.m. at the Michigan Design Center in Troy. We are going to have vendors on site, all of our sponsors, we don't take money from everybody. Our sponsors are curated to what women our age need in terms of furthering their businesses, their careers, or their nonprofits. So all women are welcome, right? All women are welcome. And we're going to have an amazing time. Oh, and don't let me forget that there will be mimosas, mockmosas, and the best heavy hors d'oeuvres you have ever had. I'm I'm probably most excited about the food. Mama Sweets catering from Southfield. Okay. Shout out to Mama Sweets. Yes. It is going down. Shout out to all of our sponsors. Yes. Should we give a sponsor shout out?
Give sponsor shout out. Absolutely. We are here for that.
Chase for Business. The Coaching with Impact program is a sponsor. Nice. Oakland Thrive, Nothing But Cakes, Grandeur Crew Wine Shop, Equitable Accounting Solutions, the Pam Mac or the Mac Law Group, right. The Lisa Stein Law and Grants. I'm forgetting a sponsor.
Uh-oh. I was going through the list with you.
I'm forgetting a sponsor. I feel like, it's us.
Oh, yeah.
Nicole Lewis and Castleberry Global. Yes. It's us. I was like, somebody really important is missing. It's us. No, we have an incredible group of sponsors that will be on site, incredible group of vendors with all kinds of things. So bring your purses and your wallets and your things, but just come to really learn, grow, and enjoy yourselves. It's going to be an incredible experience. Yes. You will walk in with a vision. You will leave with a plan. We are the only event in Metro Detroit where women convene with experts to build their strategic plans.
Did I hear that? The only
one.
Ooh, did you realize there was a niche in this? That you would be the only when you were doing your
research?
Because
we were looking for it. We were looking for it.
I see.
It didn't exist.
So you had to create it. You created it. Amazing. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for showing up and showing out. But more importantly, thank you for being the amazing mentors that you are and creating the safe space that we all can feel protected and poured into. Like we're going to be, overwhelmed with all the pouring. So thank you for sharing your time with the Renee, Lynn, Yancy show. I will be there flying in from Texas, early morning flight to make sure I get there on time. So I will see you there Sunday, October 26th out in Troy. So, and thank you, our viewership. I hope you enjoyed this show. I know I did, because it's always not just for you, but it's for me too, right? Because we're all still growing. We're all still learning. And I think these are my friends, but there's so much that I don't know about them. So having this platform to learn not only about their magnificent superpowers, but be able to share it with you, our viewership. So you know the deal. Go to the YouTube channel, the Renee, Lynn, Yancy show, where you can see all of our episodes, and we will see you next week. We're going to have Pastor Kinlock Jr. as our guest, as he is running for mayor for the city of Detroit. So see you next week and have an amazing week. Until then, take care.
New day, new talk, new perspective, real and raw. Connect the heart, inspire the mind, bringing stories that redefine. Lift your light and let it glow. You're watching what you need to know.